David
The
Aldridge.
DA.
DA joins us now on the Rude Guest Hotline, the most reliable HVAC products in the DMV. You can follow DA at David Aldridge DC. Read his work at The Athletic. DA, how do you do, sir?
What's happening, fellas? What's going on?
We good, man.
It's been a fun week, kind of getting to the edge of the madness of what next week will be. The most recent news for Washington is getting Bobby Wagner back. What do you make of the move?
I'm not at all surprised they got that done. I mean, you would be shocked if they didn't get that done, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's kind of his reputation speaks for itself. His performance last year was more than what you could have hoped for. I think if you're the Commanders, and the fact that he and Jaden have such a great relationship after just 1 year, it all pointed to, hey, get this done. This should be low-hanging fruit. Him and Zach Ertz, those should be no-brainers. Get it done. Tress way also, before we even get to free agency. There should be no arguing about that. They've proven their worth in the locker room, and, so glad that got done. I don't think Bobby really wanted to go anywhere else. I think at this point of his career, it's more important to be happy than to be wealthy. He's made enough money. And so I wasn't surprised they got that done. Just because it just seemed like both sides wanted to come back.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree, man. I think the Wagner one was easy. Tress, Ertz, we'll see if they get those done before Wednesday. Maybe that'll heat up a little next year. One thing that was funny is I had somebody tweet me like, "Yo, I saw Tress. He's back in town. He's getting a deal done." And I was just like, dude, he lives here. A lot of experts out there.
Right. For sure.
So going back about a week, Debo Samuel, certainly the biggest splash of the offseason thus far. What do you make of the Debo trade?
I'm fine with it. Look, I'm not expecting Debo to be 2021 Debo. Guys get older. He plays a very physical style of football. That those hits, BMitch can tell you, they add up over the course of a career quickly, right? So, but I'm not expecting him to be that kind of dynamic, explosive player. If he was that good, they wouldn't have traded him. You know what I mean? But I think he can be an upgrade, and I'm not sure it's going to be a wide receiver. You know what I mean? I think, to me, it makes a lot more sense for him to take that Eckler role than to be the outside guy, just because he and Austin do a lot of the same things, and I think Debo, just from a versatility standpoint, might be a little bit more valuable to a team at this stage. I think they're comparable pieces. So to me, I'm talking about adding Debo and then going and get a wide receiver. Now, whether you get it through free agency or the draft doesn't matter to me. But I think you add the receiver piece next. I don't think he is the receiver. I don't think you're lining him up on one side and you're lining Terry up on another side and saying you're good. I think Debo is going to be your Swiss Army knife. You're going to put him in all kinds of different formations for, I'd say, anywhere from 15 to 25 snaps per game, right? Sometimes he'll be a decoy, but most of the time he won't be. But that's for the defense to try and figure out. And just kind of use him as a chess piece that you can put on the field. I just love him anywhere from the 40-yard line on in, either your 40 or the opponent's 40, as a guy that you can just line up and do all kinds of different things with and get him the ball in space where he can run after the catch.
I'd say to agree with you on that, Dave. I think they need another receiver who's more, like JP and I talked about, a speed guy. And he's not that guy that's going to do that, and then that's when you give a guy like a De'Ami Brown, if you decide to try and bring him back, or somebody else of his ilk to be that third receiver.
Yeah, no, that's why I agree, BMitch. I mean, if it's De'Ami Brown, fine. If it's Hollywood Brown, fine. I'd love for them to bring De'Ami Brown back, but if he had a great postseason, and guys who have great postseasons tend to get paid. You know what I'm saying? People see it on the tape. It's the only game on that weekend, and they go, "Wow, that guy's pretty good. Let's put him on. Let's move him up to the top of the list." Right?
Yeah.
And so I think he may be just a little too. He might become just a little too expensive for the Commander States, and that's good for him because he earned it. He went out there at the biggest moments of the season and balled out, played great.
Yeah.
So good for him. And if he gets a payday out of it and a chance to get maybe more a place where he's going to get more of a featured role, I think that would be great. But I think on this team, when you talk about Terry and now adding Debo Samuel, I don't think Diami's going to get, massive number of more catches next year. And I think they'll bring Noah Brown back too, because he was really good when he was here this year. So, and gives him some size. So Diami just he might just have to go somewhere else just because he's earned it.
Yeah.
And he's gotten the payday. And then you go find again, Hollywood Brown will be fine with me, or a vet with some speed that still got a little speed in his wheels that can get down the field is, I think, what you need for this offense to be at its best.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, DA. I think Diami's gonna get $11 million.
And good for him. He earned it. Good for him.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we've got to know Diami over the years. He's like a funny, kind of goofy, down to earth dude, and very, very likable. What he did in January specifically in the playoffs was so impressive. And I think Washington, because they're gonna have to redo Terry's deal. Like, you got to come up with some guaranteed money for Terry before we actually get to week one. All of a sudden, we're going to get to week one, and they have, I don't know, $45 million invested in 2 wideouts. So the rest of that room is going to be built differently. Talking with our friend David Alridge here on the Rude Guest Hotline. You give DA a follow at David Alridge DC. I think you're right. They're either going to draft or they're going to add a wideout. I can see OZ and Noah Brown coming back, honestly.
Yes.
I think Diami's going to get paid somewhere. The biggest need going into the offseason, though, and I think we would all say is building up the lines, but specifically they need they need an edge rusher that can also set the edge against the run. Myles Garrett, there's the pipe dream there, but the Cleveland situation seems to be quite complicated. Trey Hendrickson seems to be a level below that in that he's actually been given permission to seek a trade. What do you think of those 2 players, their availability, Washington's ability to get something done?
Here's the thing. Look, I'd love for them to go get Myles Garrett. Like, I think everybody would love that. I think the cost is going to be prohibitive. Cleveland, and rightly so, he's their best player. They're going to say, we want everything you have for him. And, maybe somebody will give it to him. Maybe the Eagles will do it. I would hate for that to happen, just because that they're already Super Bowl champions and you're strengthening your strength. But the reality is they might be able to pull it off. Green Bay is another team that I think if I'm Green Bay, I'm throwing everything to go get Myles Garrett. Like, he's a difference maker on a team that's a playoff team and is good, but has to beat Detroit and Minnesota. That is now the heavyweight division in the NFL, right? And Chicago's coming. They're not too far behind. So I need elite players to beat those teams. And Myles Garrett's an elite player. So if I'm Green Bay, I'm moving heaven and earth to get Myles Garrett. Whatever it takes. It's a Reggie White situation. You get him, you win a Super Bowl, to me.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Commanders are quite in that position. They just don't have enough draft picks, I don't think. Like, I can't trade 2 firsts and a second or 2 seconds and a first, when you're still trying to build out the roster. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think Hendrickson would make a lot more sense. To me, the move that the Commanders probably should make is to take that first and just move down, get a second and get a third, or get a second and a fourth, either this year or next year, add to your inventory, and then see if you can get Trey Hendrickson for one of those seconds, one of those new seconds, one of those new thirds that you get by moving down. And then, he would be, to me, the thing to do. Or Josh Sweat would be another option, right? He's a free agent, a pretty good player. Could help you. So either one of those 2 probably be the way that I would go with defensive end. I don't know that there's a defensive end in the first round that I'm going, boy, I really want him. I mean, I know there's a lot of depth at edge rusher in this draft. So if you move down a few spots into the second round, you might be able to still get one of those guys in the second round. And then be able to also add an old lineman or a wide receiver on that second and third, second day. So that's what I would do. I'd probably go get Hendrickson or go sign Josh Sweat.
I'm curious on this. I've said this, and I have a tough time kind of evaluating those individual Eagles defenders because the whole damn unit is so good.
Right.
And I wonder with Sweat, I feel like if Sweat was the dude, how he would have had the extension done last year.
Right. No, that's fair. That's facts. That's facts. And they're very good at keeping the guys they want to keep, right? And they make it clear that who they prioritize. And look, it's all about Davis and Carter. Like we understand that. They're the wrecking machines there on that unit. And so maybe you say Sweat is a little, I don't want to say overrated. That's not what I mean. Overpriced, maybe, right? So maybe I don't want to spend as much as he's going to ask for based on the production he had last year. To your point, maybe that production is because Jordan Davis is caving in the middle of the line every play. Right. You know what I mean?
I think Sweat's a good player, too.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Him and Milton Williams, right? Him and Williams, they're good.
Right.
Like, and look, if they went and got Milton Williams, I wouldn't be mad about it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think they got it. I think the defensive side of the ball has to be addressed, man.
Yeah, I don't think that, defensive tackle is necessarily an area of need, but Milton Williams is an impactful player, right? You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be mad at it. But, yeah, you may be right, JP. I mean, you got to really look at the film on Sweat to see if he's really winning those individual battles play after play after play and setting the edge and doing all those things. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying they got to get a DN in here next year, I think.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Fowler. He had a hell of a year. And maybe you bring him back. Hopefully you bring him back. But I think you need to add to it.
Fowler helped a lot. Yeah. And especially if you can get where he is a straight-up situational pass rusher and you're not counting on him against the run because that
right.
I think there's a reason Saquon or the Eagles average 215 a game on him on the ground,
Yeah, I mean, that just was, there were just too many games as I think the defensive line was okay last year, but there was just too many games where there was no pass rush. There just wasn't any. And you just need a guy. And that's why I would look at Hendrickson hard just because I remember when the Commanders played against the Bengals and Coleman had a really good game. Like he played really good against Hendrickson for 48 minutes. And then with 2 minutes left, Hendrickson just gave him the okey doke and just blasted Jaden Daniels. Like he was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's my time to make a play. I got to be a Pro Bowler on this play. And he was, and he had 17 sacks last year. You know what I mean? Like that's just amazing production for a guy. And was he 30? I think. I can't. Like I'm not saying he's going to be great for 5 more years, but if he's great for 2 years, isn't that worth a 3rd round pick or a 2nd round pick? I think so.
He just turned 30 in December too, so he turned 30. So, probably
he can do it for 3 more years, 3 or 4. We'll take it.
Right. That's all I'm expecting.
It's right around time when Jaden got to get paid.
That's true.
That's right. That's right.
And
it's all predicated on. That's right. This is the window until you got to pay Jaden, and then everything changes. Right. Your whole salary structure changes. Right.
And ideally, if you believe in Adam Peters to find and then DQ to develop, like it seems like they'll be able to. Maybe you start developing your own in-house studs like the Eagles have done, right?
Yeah.
Like not everybody. Yeah. Nolan Smith looks like he's going to be great. I don't believe Nolan Smith's a 1st rounder. That's why they're willing to.
But they get time to grow when you got those other guys in front of them.
Right. Like you're willing to let Josh Sweat leave because Nolan Smith's coming from behind and looks like a dog. And he was a 1st rounder, but he was 30th overall. Like
that's a positive dog.
Doubt.
Yes.
No doubt. No doubt.
Now, DA, I saved the best for last, sir.
Thank you. I was wondering when we were going to get to this.
Your AU Eagles, coached by my Dwayne Simpkins. We'll all share him. DeMatha guy, Maryland guy. Go into the Patriot League semis. I know how fired up you are. That was a heck of a ball game last night in Bender.
Man,
how are we feeling? Give us the Eagle update.
Dude, I'll tell you, man, like this, and you get in a tournament. Maryland's had to do this. Everybody does this. And when you get into a tournament, there's one game you got to win where you don't play at your best, right? Yeah. And I hope that was last night, because we didn't play good in the first half. We were down 11 at halftime, but them boys, they came back. They strapped it up in the second half, just played lights out, shot the lights out, made some huge shots, made some free throws, got some stops. So now we play Colgate, which is only the 4-time defending champions in the Patriot League.
I'm trying to pull up the bracket. I'm on patriotleague.org, like the official website. And the bracket just gives you a 404. It looks the page you are looking for no longer exists.
Yeah, no, it's us and Colgate, and then the other semi is Bucknell and Navy. So it's at Bucknell, and it's at our spot on Sunday afternoon. So if we win and Bucknell wins, we got to go up there to on Wednesday for the Patriot League Championship. Hopefully Navy will do us a solid and beat Bucknell, and then the Patriot League final will be at our place on Wednesday if we win Sunday. So that's what we're rooting for.
When's the last time y'all got in? Was it with Jeff Jones?
No, it was Mike Brennan replaced Jeff Jones for his first year. He had Jeff Jones' team basically.
Okay.
And won the championship and got to the tournament. So yeah, it's been 11 years. 11 years. So we've been waiting.
You are a proud DeMatha guy. How cool is it to have Simpkins there and just kind of the work he's putting in?
He's perfect. I mean, he's been everything we needed in terms of youth and energy and understanding that you can't just coach the team. You gotta get into the community and be there for the students and, give away cookies and all that stuff that sounds kind of corny, but it gets people's attention. And last night we were sold out. I mean, I couldn't believe I was in Bender Arena. The place was sold out, and it was like a WCAC final. It was like that, you know what I mean? For an AU game. And I was stunned. So yeah, it's been great. Dwayne's been terrific. Brought some real, you just know the difference when it's a guy that's been with major programs, that's played for national champions, played for ACC titles and played for DC titles when he was at DeMatha, and brought in a guy, our assistant coach, Jackie Manuel, who was on the North Carolina team that won the national championship. One of the best defensive players they've had in recent years is on staff with us. And you just have guys that have been in big boy basketball. You know what I mean? Like they come here and they tell you, if you do this, we'll win because I won the whole damn thing. And you got to listen to them. And the kids have bought in, and it's just been great. The atmosphere has been great all year. And, I just hope we can win one more game, and then we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? But I think this team deserves to play for a Patriot League championship. We've been that good all year. We won it. We're co-champions with Bucknell. We both won the championship this year. So I think it would be fitting if we played them for the championship.
I'm rooting for you, DA. Oh, yeah. I drive by that school 8 times a day. I am rooting for you.
All right, stop by on Sunday. Y'all ain't got nothing better to do. Come on by Sunday.
All right. It's my mother-in-law's birthday, but maybe I can come. I mean,
bring her to the game.
Yeah, tell a birthday present. Here you go.
I don't even think I could get a ticket. If you sold out,
exciting?
If you sold out the quarterfinal,
we're gonna work on that, Jay. Oh, it's Sunday. I can't get it that quick.
If you sold out the quarterfinal, that thing's going to be packed for the semis.
No, well, it's spring break, though. Some of the kids will be on spring break, unfortunately. So some of the students won't be there. So there'll be seats available. Come on through.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
All right, DA. Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.